Hi students. Today we are going to look at a new lesson named The Best Christmas Present in the World by the author Michael Morpurgo. His full name is Sir Michael Andrew Bridge Morpurgo. Let us look at the biography of the author. Michael Morpurgo is an English author, poet, playwright who was born on 5th October 1943 at St Albans, Hertfordshire, England. He is well known for children's novels such as War Horse. Some of his notable works are War Horse, Why the Whales Came, Private Peaceful, Little Foxes, Friend or Foe, and many other novels. Here in this lesson, we come across some characters. First, let us have a sketch on those characters. We come across Jim McPherson, who was the leader of English troop. He was the captain. Before the war, the First World War, he was a school teacher in Dorset in the west part of England. He was very brave and courageous as he led his troop. He was also kind and open-hearted person as he shared his time and happiness with enemy army. And also he was very loving and caring, which is shown in the letter to his wife. Connie McPherson, of course, Jim McPherson's wife. So she was a wife of Jim McPherson who spent her whole life in a belief that she will see her husband again, who had gone for the war. Suddenly there was a fire which broke in her house and burned her partially. She was also considered a woman with extreme love for her husband. Another character from the lesson is Hans Wolf, the captain of German troop, who earlier worked in an orchestra in Dusseldorf before the war. He was friendly in manner as he first insisted to make friendship with English troop. He also had a love for football and he always wanted some adventures in his life. Let us look at the summary of the lesson. Actually, this entire story is about a heart touching incident that took place during the First World War. The author found a roll top disc in a junk shop. It was in a bad condition but very cheap at price. He thought that he could restore it, so he purchased it. He began to work on it on Christmas Eve. While working on the disc, he pulled out the drawers. He found that these had been badly damaged by fire and water. The man who sold it had told him that it was very old and it was of 19th century, which was made of oak tree, very strong wood. So the last drawer had got stuck. He had to use much force to open it. When it opened, it revealed a secret space. So there he found a small tin box. On the top of the box, Jim's letter was written. It said, Jim's last letter, received in Jan 25, 1915. To be buried with me when the time comes. This is what was written. As well as there was an address written with it. The author read the whole letter. The letter had been written by a captain of English army, Jim McPherson. He had written to his wife Connie. A wonderful incident had happened on the battlefield on the Christmas day. So Jim had narrated it in his letter. He narrated the unforgettable moments which took place there in the battlefield. So, there what happened? The English and the Germans were at war. The two armies stood in their respective trenches on the two sides of the man's land. Suddenly, Macpherson saw someone waving a white flag from the enemy side. Many German soldiers called out to them. They wished a happy Christmas to the name as Hans Wolf. So Macpherson also introduced himself. He said he was a school teacher from Dorset. So they began the Christmas celebration. Hans and Macpherson talked to each other, and Macpherson shared the Christmas cake sent by his wife with Hans Wolf. And Hans said that the cake was the best he had ever had in his life. It was a wonderful Christmas party. Hans also shared uh, a novel that he read, an English novel. A soldier brought out a football. So, what they did, the soldiers played while Macpherson and Hans clapped and cheered for them. Hans suggested that the world could be much better if the problems were solved by a football match instead of war. So the celebration continued even at night. After the match, they had drinks and eatables. It was time to part. So Hans saluted Macpherson and walked away slowly and unwillingly. That night, the Germans were heard singing a carol. The English soldiers replied with another carol. They exchanged carols for a while, then it was all silence. Macpherson wrote in his letter that he would treasure those moments in all his life. Macpherson ended the letter hoping that the war would end soon. Both armies longed for peace, and he was sure that they would be together again. Here, having read the letter, the author put back in the envelope. So he decided to give the letter back to whom it belonged. So he drove to the address of the letter. He learned that the house turned out to be a burnt out shell. He found out Mrs. Macpherson was in the house when it caught fire. The fireman had got her out just in time. She was 101 years old. She was in a nursing home. So here, the author went to the nursing home. He learned that Mrs. Macpherson was in a confused state. He found her sitting in a chair. She looked up at the author and her eyes lit up when he called her Connie and gave her the letter. He told her how he got the letter, but she didn't listen to him. She reached out and took his hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. She felt that her Jim had returned. She said that her Jim had kept his promise. He had returned on the eve of Christmas. She made him sit beside her. She kissed his cheek. She talked long and loving to him. She said that she had got the best Christmas present in the world. So she misunderstood the author as Macpherson. So this is the summary of the entire lesson. Now let us look at the word meaning. Here we come across several words which we may not know. Please note this in your copy. Bridport is a market town in Dorset, England. Junk shop, which means a shop selling second-hand or old things of useful materials. Roll top desk, a desk with a flexible sliding cover. You have few drawers, so you can just pull it and pull in. Spotted is found. Scorch marks is burn marks. Clumsily mended, which means without skill it is repaired. Veneer is a thin layer of plastic or decorative wood on furniture of cheap wood. Tommy is usually used to refer a common soldier in British Army. Fritz is called Fritz is called popular German nickname. No man's land is a piece of land which falls in the middle of the borders of two countries. Parapet is a low protective wall at the edge of the trench. It is a territorial thing. Conservatory is a room having glass roof and walls typically attached to a house on only one side. Wicker chair is a chair made of wicker, and the chair is ventilated, and it is useful in humid condition. These are some of the vocabulary that are used in the lesson. Thank you.